The P, the U, the R, the E, the B, the O, the Y, the S, it's pure boys. Hold up, it's pure boys.
Yeah, I got two throats.
The P, the U, the R, the E, the B, the O, the Y, the S, it's pure boys. Hold up, it's pure boys.
Say what?
Buongiorno, ciao, fudge packers, e benvenuto in Pure Boys Podcast. I'm Adam, and you're in.
And I am also speaking Italian, and I am Steve, the man with the plan.
You know that if two pure boys get together, drinking a delicious espresso and speaking the mother language Italiano, then that means that we must be watching 2003's Under the Tuscan Sun.
We must be under the Tuscan Sun and just let it drape all over you. Let it warm your soul from the inside out. Because this is Tuscany, ladies and gentlemen. This is where olives are born.
Monte Bene, you know, just wherever you want to go, you get it olives, you get in your Fiat and you go.
Dirt roads, brick buildings, tapestries as far as the eye can see. Mother Mary holding you up during a storm. This movie has everything.
Flags being thrown in the air. Oh,
that was pretty cool.
It was pretty cool, actually. That might be my favorite part of the movie, actually, was the flag festival. But
Best part. There was one part, other than that I thought was very arousing.
Well, I know exactly the part you're talking about, and we'll get to that a little bit later. Just a chef's kiss, you know? Hey,
this movie was a chef's kiss.
Listeners, if you hate the way we talk about the Italians, you're going to hate this episode because it's pepperoni salami from top to bottom.
It truly is. But we respect the Italians.
Oh.
We love what pepperoni salamis throughout time have given us, such as the aeroplane.
Such as Stanley Tucci. He's Italian on both sides. Wasted no time getting to the
both
Tucci.
ends.
That's what he says. I'm Italian on both ends. I'm Italian where it counts, and that's in the genes.
Truly.
I made myself an espresso this morning. I've never drank espresso just like as it is. It's always like an Americano or something like that. It's not very good. I don't like espresso on its own. It's very tart and bitter.
Yeah,
it
it really
honey.
sucks the flavor molecules right out of your mouth. But to make it an Americano, you just need to add water.
Yeah, I know, but I'm committed at this point. I'm committed. Yes, I've made myself Americanos. I'm committed.
So you've made yourself Americanos and made the espresso and then added the hot water and then you're done.
And a squirt of honey and then you're done.
Squirt.
Just a big squirt. Much like the end of this movie, you gush and then you drink your delicious coffee.
Do the pepperoni salamis even know about honey?
I mean, it hasn't come up on Stanley Tucci searching for Italy. It hasn't come up yet. He's explored 6 regions of Italy out of the possible 20, but at no point has anyone ever mentioned honey, which kind of disturbing to me. How can you live without honey? It's the sweet nectar of bees' bums.
I think in North America and Haiti, we're very privileged with our honey access. We got honey coming out of our pores out here.
Oh, the bees are dying in record numbers, and we're harvesting as much of that delicious bee vomit as we can. It's
storing it.
Monte Bene, you know?
Yes.
I obviously had heard of Under the Tuscan Sun, and I'd never obviously seen it because I'm a man, and this is for women. But watching it today was a true delight, and after food to fork to butt to mouth to toilet, what better follow-up than this? And then next week, what better follow-up than that?
Yeah, this was like a really good starter, or maybe even like a first main course. I feel like next week's going to be a main course as well. But we're just living the dream right now, I think.
Oh, yeah. See, I look at it as last week was the amuse-bouche. This week is the main course, and next week is going to be a delicious torte or some kind of, baklava. Oh, that's not Italian, but some kind of delicious Italian treat.
With a coffee or an espresso.
With an espresso, drank out of a children's Humpty Dumpty mug, just like the Italians do. He had a
That's
great
a beautiful
fall.
mug. Did you get it appraised?
They said all the coffee stains have made it worthless, and I went, oh, Chabella!
How about you turn that less into a full, and then we got a party going?
Exactly. How about I finish this espresso before it gets cold, because it's already not tasting very good.
Well, you're really doing a Steve thing of like putting it up to your mouth and then talking, and then,
It's done.
Really fun to watch.
Humpty Dumpty's drained. It's all done. We're ready to go. And that, of course, leads us into maybe the most important question we have each week. And that is, of course, whomst was the beggar Vance of food to fork to love?
And why?
And I think this is going to be an easy one. So I think we're going to have the same answer. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to count down from 3. I'm going to go 3, 2, 1, and then we're both going to say our answer at the same time, okay?
Okay.
All right. 3, 2, 1. Chef
Kansas
Raphael. Oh.
What'd you say?
I said Chef Raphael. What did you say?
I said Kansas City.
Well, clearly I misread the room here. Why is... Please.
I just think, like, it informs everybody's mood and their love of food and the architecture. Why do you think Chef Raphael deserves Beggar Vance? Which he does.
You know, I think I understand where I went wrong here. You, of course, know who Beggar Vance is. You understand the ins and outs of Beggar Vance. I'm going based on a feeling. So you took facts and logic to this argument, and I went just with feelings, and facts don't care about feelings. So that's why you settled on Kansas City, the obvious choice for Beggar Vance for those in the know. And I went with Chef Raphael, speaking from my fart. So that's why Chef Raphael is my Beggar Vance.
I think we're both right.
Absolutely. That's the beauty of this segment, is that there are no winners and there are no losers. There are only winners. And today, it's both of us.
And we had a couple of wieners yesterday.
Oh, I mean, somebody had more than a couple of wieners, if you know what I'm saying.
Well, no, it was a couple.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, that's very true. Well, hey, I guess we could talk about that once the segment is finished. Oh, and right on cue.
Yeah, I definitely know who's the Beggar Vance of Under the Tuscan Sun. I don't even have to think about it this week. We can't get to it.
No,
obviously.
that's next week. That's next week.
Yeah.
That's
next week.
What did we do yesterday, Steve?
Oh man, we got up in the morning. We got our tight thermals on.
Oh my God! Wait, shut up. Hold on. We haven't even done the Pure Boys prayer yet.
Oh, geez. Yeah, we definitely need prayer before we go over our day's excursion.
Our itinerary, of course. My apologies. I didn't mean to say shut up. I realized I didn't want to get
Shut
too
up.
much. Hey, shut up. Here we go. And time for the Pure Boys prayer.
God bless our podcast. God bless all podcasts. We love
you. Amen.
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 Crush your hands, ladies and gentlemen. If you're
Crush
not
them.
crushing the bones in your hands, you're not praying right. And he won't hear you.
No, and if you don't say amen, then your prayer never stops. So all the times you cuss and say you want to whatever to people's whatever, God's hearing all that too.
Yeah, don't let your cuss and comes get into your prayers, or you will never... Or you might get right to heaven. That might be the key, actually.
Did you say don't let your cuss and cum get into your prayer?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, true. Just absolutely true. Just wanted to confirm that.
The 2 C's.
Of course. That's what God said. That's the 11th commandment. When you're praying, you want to leave out the 2 C's, cussing and coming. Don't put that in your prayer.
Although, if you leave the prayer open for your entire life, basically you are giving up your whole life to God, and then you say amen right before you die, might be the perfect life.
Oh, that's actually a great idea. Yeah. Well, it's too late now, but when a child is born, that's what you're going to whisper to them. You're going to say a little prayer, but don't say amen. And then at the end of their life, you're going to force them to say amen, just as a test to see if they go to heaven or not.
Unfortunately, they might be the only person in heaven, because they're the only ones that figured it out.
Well, it's them and God, and God's going to be like, finally, somebody else is up here. Do you want to go skateboarding? And they're going to go, sure, that sounds cool. Streets are paved in gold.
Well, he probably splits himself between God and Jesus sometimes, and then the Holy Ghost, whatever that is. I'm guessing the Holy Ghost is like the annoying, like, midget flying object.
Yeah, it's like a stinky queef that just won't leave God and Jesus alone. It hangs around them.
I was thinking of that like little like alien character in the Flintstones.
Oh, the Great
that
Kazoo.
Sort of, yeah, the Great Kazoo.
Mm-hmm. AKA the Holy Spirit. Yeah,
exactly.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, played by Alan Cumming in Viva Rock Vegas.
Oh, really?
For him. Yeah, good for him. You know what? Good for him. And next week when we talk about the Flintstones and Viva Rock Vegas, we can go all through Alan Cumming's discography. Hey, but leave that coming out of your prayer.
Oh, yeah, and the cousin.
Of course, yeah.
What did we do yesterday?
Well, Steve, thank you so much for asking. We, here in Haiti, we have a little thing called winter. Snow. Bushels of it. And the local ski hill near where we live has something called a tube run. And as Steve and I were figuring out, we were planning on going for a hike, but then Steve suggested, hey, there's this tube run. Maybe we should check that out. And we went on a delightful Pure Boys road trip out to the ski hill and went tubing down a chunk of a mountain for 2 hours of just pure bliss, except for when you hit your head. But other than that, it was pure bliss.
I had 15 minutes of not pure bliss at the beginning. I didn't have my tubing legs settled yet. I didn't know how to steer, didn't know how to throw my weight around. Didn't know that the second run was by far the worst run out of all of them, and that's the one we kept going down.
Mm-hmm. But you also had a bad tube. That's the thing we should point out. Not all of this is Steve's fault. He had a faulty tube that I think was underinflated because it was kind of like collapsing in on itself. It
had a kink.
It had a kink, which meant that he sat higher up in the tube, which meant that it was going faster down the hill because the lower you sit, the slower you go. So,
yeah,
wasn't his fault.
Not all tubes are made alike.
Well, don't tell that to the tube man who was down there because he thought I was a real jerkeroni for asking him for a new tube for you. He's like, here's the shape you wanted. And I was like, it's not about the shape. I mean, it is, but it's about the tube.
You interrupted his sitting there and not doing anything.
Yeah.
And that's, once you're like 6 hours of your 8-hour day is doing absolutely nothing, you lose faith.
True. And we're here to bring faith back into people's lives. And that's what we did with that man that day.
And then after 2 hours of the most pristine tubing a man could want,
so much fun.
Or woman, we had ourselves some chocolate melts and hot dogs.
Hit the chalet for a little post-tubing pick-me-up, you know? Delicious. Yeah. Delicioso, as they would say.
All that effort we put into walking from where you stop to the, conveyor belt that takes you up the hill, that was tough, man. That really takes it out of you.
I feel like we took about 25 steps the entire day. Like it was like we moved so little doing that tubing run. You walk 2 feet, get on that thing, and it takes you up to the top. Then you walk 2 feet and slide down the mountain. It was great.
Rolling out of the tubes is probably the most physical activity you get.
And see, that's where I think I really hit on something clever there. Thanks to a little movie called Courageous, I was using something called the slingshot technique to, as my tube was coming to a rest, as it was like finishing up its slide, I would use that momentum to propel me out of the tube, and I would run and just pop out of that tube and run. And it felt good every time.
I needed to bask. The last 10 feet, I would put my feet and my hands up in the air and just give it up to our Lord and really take on all the sun I could get.
Right, under the Tuscan sun.
Yeah.
Yes.
Under the Haitian sun.
Under the Haitian sun, up in the mountains, yeah.
Yeah. And then I would flatten myself out and just roll off the tube. I thought that was my best technique.
Well, you had your thermals on, so you didn't mind getting your knees on the snow. That's fine. I was just wearing pants. No. I didn't want to get my pants wet on the snow. So I was trying my best to avoid touching the snow with things that weren't my hands or feet as much as possible.
I had 3 layers on my legs.
Whew.
and I had thermals, I had joggers, because you gotta jog, and I had snow pants on.
How cold did you think it was going to be? You must have been roasting, because it was pretty nice out.
It was pretty nice out, but I was perfectly fine.
Okay.
You gotta go that extra limit, and when you have bad bones like I do, that don't flow blood like they should, yeah, you need an extra layer.
You know what I think my favorite part of tubing was? The fact that these runs were built for children, not for men who weigh between 200 and 300 pounds. And when you're that big and you're throwing that kind of weight down the hill, you really pick up some steam. And so there were several times where I was almost jumping the wall into the next run because I was just going so fast and riding so high up on the wall. It was a real treat. I felt very cool. And the children that were there certainly responded to how cool I was and how uncool you were. So it was a real pleasure listening to them talk about us and the things that they would say.
I wish these kids could have seen me during that last hour, because I was rolling. I was being a real Don Delanucci, whatever his name is.
I don't know who you're talking, but Dom DeLuise?
Yeah, Dom DeLuise, very sophisticated, very suave, very martini in a human body.
Cannonball Run, of course, yeah.
So, all you children out there that were making fun of me, I'm coming after you, and I'm going to make you watch me do good on that hill.
For the listeners, this is not a joke. Children were making fun of Steve while he was tubing, and then children were like hyping me up for how cool I was being riding the tubes on the walls. Their minds were being blown by what I was accomplishing out there. And Steve, they were treating with nothing but scorn and also surprise. Hey, look how slow that kid's going. He just kind of fell out of his tube. And then when Steve would stand up, they would go, "Oh, that's a man. Oh."
That's a full-grown man. What is he? Shouldn't he be at a job doing his jobby?
Actually, I think the highlight of the day for me was when the lift operator at the top was like, "So are you guys like with the school that are here?" And we're like, nah, we're just like two grown men riding the tubes. Our wives are working, so we decided to come ride tubes instead of work. It was a magical day. It was beautiful, muy bene.
Yeah, the guy at the top had a little bit more zhuzh, a little bit more life to his face
joie de vivre.
Than the man at the bottom.
Yes, that man at the bottom was not thrilled to be there, but the guy at the top, I mean, half his job was riding a tube down the hill. If he needed to get to the bottom of the hill, he had to just hop on a tube and ride the slopes. So, pretty cool job.
Yeah, you take a tube up with you, and then going down is like a breeze. I guess you could walk down the path.
Nah, what's the point? What path?
Yeah. What's the point?
What's the point? Ride the tubes. That's what you're getting paid for. So, I can't wait. My wife and I are going next week. Very excited to go back. Even though gas is insanely expensive and it's a 45-minute drive, it's still worth it to go tubing.
Yeah, and I'm not invited because for some reason I cannot be a third wheel.
Yeah, not this time. Yeah. It's just for my wife and I this time. But then when your wife finally gets the gumption up to book a day off work, then the four of us will all go and have a delightful time together.
You're crazy.
I don't know what you mean. I just book a day off. It's not hard. Just tell your boss I need Wednesday off. It's not hard. It's the easiest thing to do in the world. Your company doesn't care about you. Stop caring about your company. Your work hates you. You're irreplaceable. So treat them like they're replaceable. Take a day off work. Go tubing. It's easy.
Well, sometimes the rose isn't as bright as it should be. You know what I mean?
Yep. Of course. Yeah. That's. I think Shakespeare said that. Mm-hmm.
He said it to me. That's for sure.
He did, yeah, whispered right in your ear. Hey, are you ready for everyone's favorite segment of the week?
No.
The Kevin Sorbo Tweet of the Week.
All right, Kevin Sorbo's being a real mensch lately, so I'm gonna read his bio instead of reading any of his tweets.
No, what are his tweets about?
His tweets are all about Ukraine and politics and crap. So I'm gonna read Kevin Sorbo at KSorbs if you want to get the information straight from the source.
Yep.
He is an actor, director, producer, author, and click the link to see me on Locals. So I'm assuming that's a dating app.
Yeah, definitely. Of course it is.
I also found out that he has his location pinned as Florida, USA, right now, and he joined in April 2009.
Wow. Hey, you could have read this tweet. You could have read. I found a tweet right here. You could have read from 5 days ago. I'm
What's
taking
that?
over this segment. Since Steve didn't want to do this, I'm taking over this segment for this episode. I've got a tweet here from Kevin Sorbo from February 25th at 10:46 p.m. A very late dump for him. Like, woke up in the middle of the night, had to take a dump, essentially. And it goes like this. There is a legend that if you go take a shower and scream out loud, "Mom!" 3 times, a nice lady appears bringing the towel you forgot.
You know, that is a perfect tweet to read for this segment.
Uh-huh.
And I missed it over my 2 or 3 times I've skimmed over this guy's tweets over the past couple of days.
And now
That's a perfect tweet.
that's a needle in a haystack though, because it was surrounded by nothing but Ukraine and COVID and government talk. So
Yeah.
you had to really dig for it, but it's there.
Well, it's right there.
I don't mean to embarrass you in your own segment. I love you and I love this segment, and I just, the bio's great, but it's not the Kevin Sorbo bio of the week.
Well, it is.
Well, isn't that the truth? Yeah. Kev, we love you. Thanks. Keep up the great work. Keep fighting the good fight.
Where did that tweet come from?
Well, February 25th, 10:46 p.m. Yeah.
10:46 p.m. Yeah. Late night. Oh my God, it must have hurt.
Right? He must have had Taco Bell that night or something, and his body he hadn't had it in like 5 years, and he was like, I could probably eat it again. And then 10:46, he's tweeting about he had a dump so bad he had to take a shower afterwards. That's what that tweet implies to me.
Too much bean fiber.
Yeah, too much. Yeah. Too much tomato, cheese, lettuce, and bean.
Well, the meat's also veggies, so you know, he's a meat's also veggies guy.
Wow, how progressive of him. Is it time to hop on a plane, fly across the ocean, and land in beautiful Italy for 2003's Under the Tuscan Sun? Let's go, let's God.
Let's go, let's God. I loved this movie.
I loved this movie too. I gotta say, I had big smile on my face the whole time.
Yeah, it just hits you like a sun ray.
It's almost as if while you're watching it, you're under the Tuscan sun.
I think that's what it conveys. I feel like this movie was the 50 Shades of Grey of the 90s.
Okay, all right, sure.
Like,
I get
just
what you
like
mean.
women 30 to 65 were just buying this book and creaming their jeans.
Yeah, if you see a woman who has this book on the shelf, take it off the shelf and take a look at it. See how water stained it is, because she kept dropping it in the tub.
Very sticky.
Yummy. I'm going to find out later today exactly how that goes, because literally this afternoon, I am going to purchase a copy of Under the Tuscan Sun that I have arranged with someone on Garage Sale. So very excited to read it myself and see how gushy I get.
Well, watching this movie, it seems like it begs reading of the book, because this movie suffers from being adapted from a book. That you're going from place to place, and there's not enough like context or like connection to these characters, which inevitably happens when you're adapting a book to a movie.
Of course, this movie is almost 2 hours long, and it moves at a brisk pace. And even still, like you said, it feels like there's so much being left out. So much is explained in like one sentence. That's just like, and then this person left me. Anyway, we got to go to the flag festival. Like, it's always moving, always happening. I barely know the Polish guys,
Yeah. And you have to get sunk in to loving these Polish men. But the time isn't there. Even the montage of the food isn't there.
Can't wait to read that montage in a book.
Well, I feel like there's nods to food, but I feel like it's a through line throughout the book. Like it really connects everything.
Well, I will say this. In reading up about the book, like chapters of it are recipes. Like there's a lot of recipes in it apparently. So, and the copy I'm getting is signed by the author. So very exciting.
Man, who are you ripping this from?
I'm getting it for $5, my dude. It's a steal of a deal.
They have no idea what they're giving up. This is going to be worth some big moolah.
Oh yeah. At least to me in my life, it's going to be worth buku bucks, you know?
Yeah. Oh yeah. It's going to pay it forward.
I think my favorite thing about this movie, and like watching it and you see kind of the through line, and then I went and did a little bit of research on it on Heather Mays, I believe was the author of the book or something like that. I don't know what her
HeatherMays.com.
HeatherMays.com. Ciao Bella. It's Frances Mays. Sorry, Frances Mays. The through line of this book and movie is that everywhere Frances Mays goes, every guy wants to frick the hell out of her. She is the sexiest catch in the world, and every guy... There's a point in this movie where she arrives in Rome, and the men are so attracted to her, they start applauding. They stand up and start applauding her, and then you look her up and you go, oh, you look like my mom. Like, you're just like... You're like just a dumpy person. I mean, what do you mean you're the sexiest person in Italy? What kind of nonsense is that? Can't wait to see if that's in the book.
Everybody is eye fricking her.
Oh.
She's not a young lady, but she's not an old lady. Dianne Lane is about 38 when this comes out.
Really? Oh, she looks older than 38.
She does look like 45, 50 in this movie.
She does.
But she's sophisticated. She's well-rounded as a person. She's been divorced, so you know they smell that on her.
Oh yeah, yeah. The stench of desperation is all over her. I will say I love that they never show her ex-husband. That he is not he's just talked about. He's not a character. We don't ever have like an interaction with them. It's just the most you see of him is a Polaroid photograph featuring the back of his head. So it could be anybody.
And the Polaroid moved, right?
Yeah, it did. Yeah. It was a Harry Potter Polaroid.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, thank goodness.
Yeah.
I thought I was going insane, and my wife didn't correct me or reassure me or anything.
Did you grab her arm and go, the pictures are moving? The pictures are moving. And she went, yes, honey, we're watching a movie. That's what it is. Pictures that are moving.
Yeah, 30, frames per second.
Exactly. You know, Fellini, maybe you've heard of him, El Maestro.
Love 16-year-old girls.
Yeah, oh man, could you imagine being Fellini and going up to a 16-year-old girl with ice cream all over her face and going, you are my dreams come to life? And I go, what the hell? Get away from me.
Yeah. You think the parents would be like, could you leave now? We're trying to have gelato.
Yeah, you think the parents would be like, hey man, in your dream, that's not an ice cream cone and that's not ice cream on her face, right? Like, why are you telling our 16-year-old daughter? Why are you having dreams about 16-year-olds like that, you creep?
Because he's a filmmaker. He's an artist. And you just get, swept up in the beauty of life.
Yeah, you have to express your art whatever way, whatever form that comes in, you know?
A lot of movies that we've watched will try to suck you in with a kid death at the beginning of it. It happens quite regularly in these films.
True.
But instead of a kid death, we get a crushing divorce at the beginning of this movie. Mm-hmm. And it drew me in probably more so than a kid death.
The death of a marriage, the death of a love.
Yes. Mm-hmm. But, a death gone by. I mean, this guy's raking her over the coals in this divorce.
Well, but I mean, who comes out on top, though? The guy who stays in San Francisco or the lady who moves to Tuscany?
I don't know. We'd never see the lady that he cheats on.
Right.
Cheats with.
Yeah.
Yeah, she's super pregnant. They're moving into their house, and Dianne Lane's getting bought out.
You know, you're right. All of that is happening. But I need to point out that this movie opens with a cameo by Fulton Reed.
My first note of this movie is 2003 touchstone, exclamation mark, exclamation mark,
Beautiful.
exclamation mark.
Yep.
But then Fulton Reed.
Oh yeah.
Huge get.
Yeah. I put in all caps, Fulton Reed. Whoa. I was blown away. I heard the voice and I went, I don't recognize that voice because he wasn't talking like this. He didn't say, "Hi guys, welcome to my book signing." But sure enough, there he is, Fulton Reed. Some of you might know him as Foggy Nelson. He's always Fulton Reed. Don't get it twisted. Yeah. He's a Bash brother.
And also, he's like a normal human being when he turns into an adult. Like, he just like was an older kid that got cast as a large like man boy for the Mighty Ducks, but then he didn't like grow taller at all. He just
he didn't become like a 9 foot tall man. It wasn't like a proportional thing where as everyone grew, he kept growing, getting taller,
which you would expect from a Fulton Reed-esque, presence.
Absolutely, do you think if you met Fulton Reed like at an airport or at a book signing or something, if you went, "Oh my God, it's Under the Tuscan Sun's Fulton Reed," if he would be complimented by that or confused, or what do you think his response would be?
Well, I think there would have to be some like calculating by his mind. You would see his eyes like roll back into his head for at least a millisecond. Because you gotta that's a lot of things being thrown at you at once. Yeah. But then I'm pretty sure he would be, "Oh, Under the Tuscan Sun, will you French kiss me?"
It's all of the right information, yet all of it is wrong.
Yeah.
None of it is correct, but all of it is correct,
It's technically correct, but the context is all out of whack.
See, and he is from the very start of the movie, people are trying to frick Dianne Lane. And he says, "Can I French kiss you now?" And I thought, oh, this must be her partner. And she goes, "No, I'm married." And I went, why would someone say that to another person? And then later on in the same scene, some guy's like, "Oh, I want to have sex with you." And it's like, and she's just like, "Oh, you boys." Like, who is acting like this to people? Pigs, that's who.
I honestly thought that this was written and directed by a man. Because like the sexuality of these ladies is just kind of weird at a lot of points in this movie.
What do you mean?
Well, the director going after a 16-year-old girl.
Yeah.
Everybody, frickin' Dianne Lane.
Who is it?
The kid wanting to make out with her. Fulton Reed.
Fulton Reed. Yeah. Former child Fulton Reed.
Everybody trying to frick her. The idealism of like an Italian muscular behemoth of a man having a love affair with you. Lesbians.
Of course. Get you a Marcello is what I'm saying. Yeah, I agree. It is a uncomfortably sexual movie at times where you're just like, all right, lady, it feels like you're embellishing and bragging. Hey, yeah, it's your book.
Get all your rocks off.
Yep.
Whichever way you feel fit. Food, physical touching, whatever.
Yeah. Flags, whatever.
Letting a bunch of Polish men do a train on you so they can fix your house for free. Whatever.
I mean, I can think of one of them who would have loved to run a train on her, and that would be the twitchy, shaky guy who doesn't speak the entire movie.
Do you think he shakes in real life, or that was an affectation by the book, probably, right?
Oh, yeah. In the book, they said this guy shakes, and he was like, "I guess I'm shaking."
Well, can I just not shake during the filming of this movie? That would be a lot easier.
Yeah, I'm worried that much like how House developed an actual limp because of the limp on the show, I'm going to develop actual shakes from shaking so much for this movie.
Did he really?
I mean, I don't think it was permanent, but certainly it changed his gait to the point where he was having hip issues IRL.
Yeah, well, beef up that glute med,
Right? The P. Second note, Sandra Oh is in this movie. I love Sandra Oh. She's great in this movie.
She is charming as hell, and I think a pregnant lesbian is just perfect for her.
And I don't know if you noticed, here's a fun little thing. Her lover who leaves her is also on Grey's Anatomy. The two of them are on Grey's Anatomy together, and then in this movie they play lovers. It's beautiful.
Well, they probably just like popped in to the Grey's Anatomy set and said, we need 2 females if you can.
They went, all right, you can have these 2. Yeah, fine.
We got the O and we got the other one.
Yeah, the O.
The U.
And Sandra Oh is wearing the hell out of a beret. I'll tell you that much. She looks great in a beret.
Yeah, it really highlights her feature.
Yeah, it really does. Well, turns out that Dianne Lane's husband was cheating on her, so she gets a divorce, is very depressed, winds up in like furnished suites where it's just like, hey, live here until you decide to, move on or jump off the roof, whatever. Who knows what's going to happen to you? And that's not a good place for anyone to be from the looks of it.
She has a very funny landlord. People are crying. Her neighbors are crying very loudly.
Mm-hmm.
I think it looks like a lovely place to live.
Yeah, I would agree. It's definitely the kind of place I could see myself really settling into,
Oh, yeah, I could definitely die in one of those rooms.
Oh, what a pleasure it would be to die in one of those rooms.
And then, like, cry so much that a sexy lady eventually comes over, and then death packs. I don't know.
I do love that he's like, do you want to come over? And she's like, no, maybe later. Oh, God, maybe later. Oh, my God, I got to go to Tuscany.
Yeah, that's her inciting incident to go to Tuscany, is that she's realized she's so depressed, she needs a getaway, and her lesbian friends have upgraded a ticket for her.
Well, they were supposed to go on a gay tour of Italy, gay and away as it's called. And God, I want one of those hats so bad. I want those gay and away hats. I was trying to find them online. You cannot find them anywhere. If you were an extra in Under the Tuscan Sun and you still have your gay and away hat, write us at pureboyspod@gmail.com or tweet at us at pureboyspodcast on Twitter and let us know that you have it and then how much we can give you to get it to us.
And it's not going to be a lot. It's going to be very minimal because we need to sell more t-shirts.
Exactly, yeah. Absolutely, yeah. I really hope...
So the lesbians are pregnant.
The lesbian Sandra Oh is pregnant. And obviously through in vitro, obviously, how would it work any other way? And so they can't go on this gay and away Tuscany tour. So they go, hey, we took our 2 plane tickets. We upgraded them into 1 first class ticket. I don't think you can do that. I don't think you can take 2 tickets and then mash them into 1 better ticket. I don't think that's how airlines work. But in the reality of this movie, sure, why not?
I'm sure you could. You'd probably have to pay a fee or get sent some flowers or something. But in America with airlines, you can do whatever you want. So when this happened, when she's going on the gay and away tour, I thought this was the movie. I thought she was going to be on this tour, seeing Tuscany, tasting the taste, smelling the smells. And through her journey through this gay and away tour, at the end, she would buy a villa and stay in Tuscany.
Oh, but that's not quite. I mean, that is how the first 20 minutes goes. But then, yeah, she buys that villa right away and poof, is suddenly living in Tuscany. Away. Just on the tour for 3 days and goes, I'm going to buy a villa in Tuscany. Why not?
Yeah. Because an old lady told me to.
Yeah, because a bird pooped on my head and an old lady said, that's good luck. You should buy a villa. And I went, all right, yeah, why not? Sure.
That is good luck. And then the tour is gone.
Yeah.
They're just out of memory. None of those actors that were looking forward to a full film, gone.
Yep. They filmed their own film. Touring Tuscany with gay and away.
That's the film I want to see.
Rated hard R. You better believe it. This movie is PG-13, so they get 1 F word in it. Very impressive.
Where was the F word?
When Sandra Oh and her partner are telling Dianne Lane that they're going to send her to Tuscany. And I don't remember the exact line, but she says she definitely drops a hard F because PG-13, you can get away with it.
Oh, sì, grazie.
Grazie, I love it. Bramasole. So Dianne Lane sees, like, like a realtor's listing, all these listings for villa, and she sees this one that's just like a hand-drawn picture. It doesn't have actual pictures, called Bramasole, and she goes, oh, that's interesting. And then she's on the bus, and a bunch of sheep are in the road. Get these sheep out of the road. And wouldn't you know it, they have to stop, and she looks over, and they're right outside of Bramasole. So she goes, stop the bus. And the bus driver goes, all right, good luck to you. And they just leave her on the side of the road and, like you said, drive out of the movie. And, like, if this wouldn't have worked out for her, what was she going to do?
Also a great opportunity for the bus driver to say, well, good luck under the Tuscan sun.
At no point does anyone say under the Tuscan sun. And there's nothing I love more than when the title of the movie is spoken in the movie. And
and as forced as possible, and as minimal of a character as needed. So I think the bus driver saying it would have been mucho bene.
I think my favorite example of that is, and you'll know the movie when I say the line, but when Richard Dreyfuss goes, "Hey, we should call that big shark Jaws." And then and everyone applauds and goes, "That's beautiful." That's from Jaws.
Flat break.
Exactly. That's from Jaws 3D, and it's a beautiful movie.
It is. It is a beautiful movie. You should all pause this, go watch Jaws 3D, and then come back.
Monte Bene. So she goes into this villa. It's a very rundown villa. There's like a tap on the wall that she runs into that is just completely bone dry. There's nothing coming out of that tap. And there's pigeons inside the house. The whole place is run down, but it's very charming. And luckily, the old lady who is selling it sees a bird poop on Dianne Lane's face, and she goes, "Oh, bueno, buy my house." That's a sign.
She almost got paid double for what she was asking, but instead she picked a sign, and that sign was getting pooped on by a bird.
To be fair, I get where she's coming from. Dianne Lane was there based on signs, right? Signs that said Monte Bene or whatever the hell that place was called. And then the old lady sees a sign. So it's all about signs, They should have called this movie Signs.
If I'm selling my family's property, I'm not going to give it to some pervert American woman coming in here trying to buy our land. That's crazy.
Who's on a sex tour around Italy? No thanks. This land is a two ox 2 day chunk of land, and that it would take 2 oxen 2 days to plow the whole land.
How tough are these oxen?
I couldn't tell you. I'm pretty tough, I'd imagine. But I love that when the guy explains that to Dianne Lane, she goes, "Oh, that's a good way of measuring it." And go, "No, it's not. Yeah. What are you talking? How long would it take an ox to plow this land, Dianne Lane? Do you know? You don't."
There's too many variables at play. Oh. How hot is it outside? How big are these oxen? How tough is the land? I mean, we need to know this information if we're going to measure this property correctly.
Is the soil dry? Has it rained? Boy, when it rains, it pours over in Italy from the looks of it.
Yeah, and it's tough to get through that muck with those hooves.
It's tough to keep your washing machine from getting struck by lightning. So luckily, a bunch of cartoon characters, cartoonish Polish men show up, all in like ridiculous outfits to help her rebuild the house. So that's what most of this movie is Dianne Lane going out, trying to get her bean flicked while these Polish men slave and work on her house.
And I feel like that's why I want to read this book, because I want to get more, back and forth between her and the Polish people, because like at the end of the film, they're apparently family, but they don't really spend any time together. And she goes like they're starting to work on the house, and she's like, "Oh, I'm falling in love with these guys. Everything's going good. I'm making them meals." And then like a scene later, she's like, "Oh, I'm getting sick of these guys. I need to go get laid."
Yeah, that's a really good point. It like the surprise for me is that like when she goes to see her, I mean, spoiler alert, when she goes to see Marcello, yeah. He goes like, "We had an affair months ago." And I'm like, "Oh yeah, like 6 months have gone by in this movie, but it feels like a week has gone by just because of how fast paced the whole thing has to be."
Yeah, you need to hit big spots in the book in order to appease the fans, but having it stretch it out over all this time, like, you gotta like show what happens at Christmas, because in the book that's such a huge character moment, because she's being invited to people's homes, she's being a part of Tuscany.
Oh, beautiful. Mwah, Monte Bene. This book spent 2.5 years on the bestsellers list. That's how popular it was. 2.5 years as a bestseller. That's wild.
Because middle-aged females were just flicking their bean to it.
Yeah, and 34-year-old men want to flick their bean to it in 2022. Here comes the glue.
And that's why it's so hard to find a copy nowadays, because all those ladies burnt this book when 50 Shades came out.
They said, I won't be needing you anymore, as they threw it into a fireplace.
Yeah, I got like all I need in this series.
It was most of those books didn't burn very well because they were so drenched. But they were covered in ash, so they just threw them out, and that's it. You can get an ashy cover, but that's all you can get.
Yeah, that's it.
Oh,
how burnt is the copy that you're getting?
I'll find out later on this afternoon. I'll send you a picture of it. I am legitimately excited to read Under the Tuscan Sun. I think it's gonna be good.
Me too. I'm gonna do it. I've been thinking about it for the last 24 hours, and I just have to dive right in.
Well, you're reading Animorphs right now, so where are you gonna get a copy of Under the Tuscan Sun? The library? Good luck.
Yeah, I'm gonna borrow it digitally.
Nice. He means steal it off the internet.
Well, I'm going to come to your place and read it over your shoulders, even though you definitely read faster than I do.
Well, you can just sit on my shoulders and we'll walk around the house. I'll hold it out and we can read it together.
I'm going to break into your house next week when you go tubing with your wife.
If I come home and my copy of Under the Tuscan Sun isn't right next to the bathtub where I left it, I am going to be livid with you.
Okay, so Adam has maybe the best bathtub in all of Haiti.
Grazie.
You should read every word of this book while you're in the tub.
You are 100% right. I am going to read this book in the tub exclusively with a glass of wine, and that's where you're going to find me most nights.
Yeah, I would switch up the wine sometimes, maybe go with the rosé a few times.
Sure.
I don't know what kind of wine you like to drink, but I'd say mix it up.
I'm a red man. Much like meth and red, I'm a red man. So I think that, but a rosé is still a lot of red. So that would be delicious too. As long as it's not white, get that church crap out of here. Nobody likes church wine except for like women. Ugh.
I feel like white wine is always like the entry level wine. And then all of a sudden you have like a red wine and you're just like, white as pee.
Yeah, why was I drinking sourpuss for so long when I could have been drinking red wine?
Maybe you should drink sourpuss while you read.
Just shots of sourpuss while I'm reading Under the Tuscan Sun in the tub.
Babe, I need more sourpuss.
And watch our Twitter for pictures of me in the tub reading Under the Tuscan Sun. I'll put bubbles in the tub, don't you worry.
Make sure your wife knows when you're doing this, because I want you to be safe. I don't want you to get too drunk off of alcohol or Under the Tuscan Sun. And I don't want you falling into that abyss that is bubbly water.
Oh, I couldn't even imagine. I'd be terrified to do so. So I'll make sure to keep my head straight while I'm in there.
Great way to die, though.
Oh, beautiful. If they found me drowned in the bathtub with a copy of Under the Tuscan Sun over my face and a half-drank bottle of wine by my side, they would go, this man died the way he lived, full of life.
Yeah, full of life. That's something to strive for, I think, ladies and gentlemen.
It really is. It really is. Yeah. I was excited to read the book, but now I'm even more excited to read the book. Can I get to have a bath? It's going to be great. Do you even have a tub?
I do not have a tub, so I'm just going to have to cover my tablet in plastic and
hop in the shower.
Hang it, suction it on the shower wall and read it while it pours over me.
That might be a better way to do it. Just standing in the shower, just scrolling on your tablet. Romantic.
Drinking pineapple mango seltzers.
The way it was meant to be read. The way Francis Mays desired it to be read.
Is there alcohol made out of olives? Because that seems like it would be perfect for Under the Tuscan Sun.
Oh, I mean, according to this movie, olives are disgusting. Dianne Lane, the only olive we see is the one Dianne Lane eats off the tree and then spits it out in disgust.
Do you think it's because she doesn't like olives? I guess we'll find out once you read the book.
That's the thing.
But
again, they had to sacrifice context for the movie, so we don't know if she likes olives or not. In the one scene we see of her eating an olive, she apparently doesn't like it, but that doesn't mean that applies to all olives.
Yeah, and sacrifices need to be made. Like, don't let this take you away from watching this beautiful film. Watch it, read it, love it, live it.
Yeah. If you got Disney Plus, it's on there for free. It just costs you $10.99 a month, no big deal. But then you can watch Under the Tuscan Sun whenever you want.
I'm never watching this film again. I don't think so.
I probably won't, because after I've read it, I'll have the complete story and I won't need to return to it. I'll know all the ins and outs of what it's like to be a woman in her 40s on a frick tour around Italy.
Intimately.
Oh.
That's what sold this book.
Into me I see, you know?
Isn't it weird how hard it is to say Marcello's name? Marcello.
Yeah, it is weird.
It's hard.
Well, it's Italian. It's the mother tongue, and we don't have cornicellos
not
around
the language
our neck.
I speak.
No, not the language I speak. I speak Haitian, and yeah, I don't have a cornicello around my neck because nobody's sent us one yet.
My favorite line from this hunk of a man is, maybe you are one of those crazy American women, like Charlie's Angels.
That guy gets it. He knows. They just got Charlie's Angels in Italy in 1996. Oh, maybe he's referring to the McG theatrical production of it.
Or the television program from the 70s.
Yeah. I love the idea of him being like, you're like a Lucy Lou, Charlie's Angel.
Well, you haven't met Sandra Oh yet.
Yeah, exactly. So I guess Dianne Lane would be the Drew Barrymore. Sandra Oh would, of course, be the Lucy Liu. And then, I don't know.
Watch yourself, counselor.
One of the Polish guys is Cameron Diaz. And then we got the whole trio. And then, I don't know.
Shaky man.
The shaky man. Well, and here's a weird thing. One of the Polish kids looks exactly like Crispin Glover. So there is some connection there.
Very much so. It's a web that we weave.
Exactly, yeah. I mean, if you want, Sandra Oh can be the Cameron Diaz, that's fine. And then the shaky guy can be Lucy Liu, if that makes you happier, that's fine.
Sandra Oh could be the camera operator, for all I care. Just get more Sandra Oh in my life.
Sandra Oh could be the Bernie Mac, for all I care.
I want her to do my eulogy.
I want Bernie Mac to do my... Oh, no.
Oh, no. I think Bernie Mac was set to be in this film as the Italian lover.
Possibly. I mean, they show Dianne Lane goes to a movie and goes to see George of the Jungle in Italian, and I think what they were actually supposed to show was Mr. 3000, the Bernie Mac movie featuring Dane Cook.
George of the Jungle. Were you surprised that the female from 40-Year-Old Virgin is in that movie?
Oh, no. I know George. I love George of the Jungle. I legitimately watched that movie a lot when I was growing up, and Leslie Mann was... I had a pretty big crush on Leslie Mann in that movie, so no, I'm well aware of her.
Both me and my wife were very shocked at that exact fact.
Oh.
And we're like, yes, it's a man. Leslie Mann.
Do you think they call him Giorgio of the Jungle?
Yeah. Yeah.
They have to, right? Yeah.
The fact that they didn't say that explicitly really let this film down.
Right? Why didn't they get John Cleese to dub in the gorilla's voice going, Giorgio, look out for that tree?
Because they couldn't get the camber right.
No. It's hard. It's hard for a British man to speak Italian.
It really is.
It's hard for anyone to speak Italian.
Well.
What did you think of this line? Oh, don't be so sad. If you continue like this, I'll be forced to make love to you.
Makes me gush every time. Is that a line that could be used on a woman for pleasure?
It almost works on Dianne Lane. And if that guy didn't go, well, I'm married, so we can't go any further, it would have worked.
Oh, yeah.
Bizarre.
Who said that?
The realtor.
Oh, yeah.
The realtor who I was sure at the end of the movie was going to be like, my wife had just left me. Maybe we go upstairs and pick up where we left off when the snake got in your house.
I couldn't believe that he had a wife, or that, like, the wife let him talk to this other beautiful American woman and give her a gift at Christmas.
He is a butt hair away from having an affair at all times when he's around Dianne Lane.
Maybe that's just like commonplace in Italy. People be having affairs all the time, swapping spit.
Oh yeah, I mean we haven't even talked about like the old MILF in this movie who is just like, I'm 75 and I just want all guys to throw it in me, but she actually leads a very sad, lonely life, I would wager.
Yeah, she's the weird, sad old lady. We did talk about her because she tells Dianne Lane to buy a villa in Tuscany.
You're right.
She was creeped on by Federico Fellini
yes.
to be in her movies.
That's right.
And she's just like peppered throughout this movie, but really is there to like push Dianne Lane into having sex.
Oh yeah, and to be nude on camera, covered in a boa.
Yeah. Well, she has sex with a bunch of random, beautiful Italian boys.
Oh, yeah, and she can't get pregnant, so just, like, nut in me. It's fine, she says.
Yeah.
Every Italian, the first expression she learned was nut in me.
Nut in me!
Nut in me! I go to
And
Roma.
that's basically what she does. She's supposed to be this, like, grandiose character, like I don't know.
The book is going to explain more about her.
Yeah.
Yeah. I was sure that at the end, when they had to like get her out of the fountain because she's dancing in a fountain, I was sure that when they put her in bed, she was going to go, don't live like me. Don't be like me. Like, I thought she was going to like give some words of warning to Dianne Lane, being like, find love. Like, settle down with someone. Don't lose your childish spark, but don't be this like old horn dog your whole life. You sleep alone every night. That's sad to some people. Maybe not to her.
Dianne Lane's crisis of character happens throughout these moments. Like, she gets denied by Marcello, as we talked about.
Right, yeah. Well, after their steamy affair, then she gets denied.
Yeah. 6 months later, she goes and sees him in this, town, and he's totally fricking somebody else.
Totally fair.
Yeah.
In his defense, he's like, we had an affair months ago. We kept trying to like get back together, but we never could make it work. 6 months have gone by. I'm not burning a candle for you. I'm 34. I'm in the prime of my life. I'm going to be banging all these Italian broads. So yeah, I moved on. Sorry. You're beautiful, but sorry.
And so she's absolutely crushed. And then she goes back home, and then she finds out or really discovers that the old lady that spurred her to like go on this Tuscan adventure is a crazy person and has a very sad life.
Yeah.
And that's when she is like, what am I doing here? That's her what am I doing here moment.
Yeah. The shine has worn off of Italy, and she's just like,
yeah.
Oh my God. All these charming people are actually lunatics. Oh no. I crave normalcy. Well, she finds it with Sandra Oh.
Yes. Sandra Oh saves the day. She comes to Tuscany,
fully
pregnant as hell.
Fit to burst.
Yeah, and you find out very sadly that her wife left her.
Yeah, because she realized she didn't want to be a mother. And it's like, but you guys had to pay to do this. Yeah. We're lucky you're not the one carrying the baby then, I guess.
Well, yeah, for sure. Although Sandra would have ripped it out and done the right thing, I think.
Absolutely, she would have, yeah. Before we go too much further, though, we need to talk about the sex scene in the antique store, I think.
Yes,
absolutely.
Of course.
So she meets Marcello. This is 6 months earlier, before he, whatever.
Destroys her heart.
Exactly. She meets Marcello. He's a very charming Italian man. She meets him in Roma. He saves her from the applauding men and takes her back to his family's like estate, or they own like a restaurant or something like that. And his brother owns an antique store. But it's time for them to have passionate Italian sex. And so they do it in the antique store next to a big old marble statue with its dinger out that Dianne Lane immediately grabs. Like, while he's going down on her, she's just got two hands grabbing stone dingers on either side of her. It was a very funny image to see.
Well, this is when you truly find out that this was directed and written by a woman, because the man goes down on her first. Are you kidding me?
Maybe in Italy.
Yeah. Well, She does scream only in Italy as she's like, stretching in pleasure.
Mm-hmm. I mean, she kind of looks into the camera and shrugs and goes, "Only in Italy."
Yeah. And you just see his head just bobbing.
Oh, you see his head just headbanging like he's at an Andrew WK concert. He's just smashing her pelvis with his head.
Yeah, the mouth is wet, but the head is strong.
Oh, yeah. He comes up for air and he's just got blood all over his face. But it's from his nose because he broke his nose.
It's a very Italian nose.
Oh, it's so strong and pronounced.
My very Italian nose.
Take this kitten from the beach.
Get me some limoncello, my love.
Oh, I'd love to try limoncello. I know it's a drink that's available here, but I want that classic Italian limoncello.
Yeah, I want homemade on the ocean limoncello.
Exactly. And I'll tell you this much. At the end of the second episode of Stanley Tucci Searching for Italy, he goes to Roma, and there he tries limoncello. And that's the first place I ever saw it. And I went, oh, wow, I really got to go to Roma and get some limoncello. That looks delicious.
I'd say that's probably our 5th live show is in Roma. Having some limoncello.
That sounds great, yeah. Noah's Ark, Noah's Ark, Noah's Ark, Noah's Ark, Rome.
Noah's Arcade.
Yeah. Then the Vatican, where we do a show for the Pope himself. And then while we're there, travel down to Roma, get some limoncello, meet our own Marcellos, have a steamy Italian affair, and then go back to our wives. Beautiful.
Wives in our lives.
Of course.
I think a European tour is just what this podcast needs.
Oh, it's the thing that's missing. It's the piece that's missing from this podcast.
Problem is, what do we review if we're in Tuscany?
We've already done.
Do Under the Tuscan Sun again.
Exactly. We've already done Under the Tuscan Sun. What's next? I guess we could review like 8.5, do some Fellini movies or something.
Yeah, Fellini movies for sure.
I have the Criterion channel now. I could watch Fellini whenever I want. I might even watch 8.5 today. We'll see.
You're so sophisticated.
Well, I'm a real pepperoni salami now.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, so the tap at the front of the house was dry when she got there. When Sandra Oh shows up, the tap starts dripping. And you go, I wonder if this tap is a metaphor for the flow of love into Dianne Lane's life. Well, it is.
In Bologna.
Oh, is that where she is? I thought she was in Tuscany.
Well, that's what they call her villa once they're complete.
Right. You're right. Yeah, they name it Bologna, which is Italian for Poland. And she goes, but I'm from America.
Yeah.
Well.
And this is Italy.
And you're from Poland. And this isn't your house. Take your mark off of it. Call it Dianne Lane.
Call this New York.
How do you say New York in Italian?
You just had an IA at the end, probably.
Probably, yeah. You just carve, hey, I'm walking here on the wall.
I mean, the fact that they just call this Villa Poland, it was really weird to me. That's a bad name.
I mean, Bologna is a nice name for it is a nice Italian-sounding name. But then, yeah, when you find out it means, like, toilet paper, you're like, oh, that's interesting. All right, well, fine. Good for you.
And I don't actually think this, but it sounds like toilet Poland, right?
Yeah, Bologna.
I'm going to take my reprieve on the Bologna.
I've got a view from a Bologna that looks out over the grape fields. That's what people say.
I would like to take a number 2 on a very sturdy toilet in the middle of a field.
Do you want it to have boiling hot water in it like the one in Bologna?
Well, it was steaming. I didn't see anything boil, so I'm very wary of these characters. But yeah, I do.
I do love that is never resolved. Like, just the toilet has boiling hot water in it. Well, whatever. They just poop in the grass, I guess. I don't know what you're gonna do. Who cares?
Well, a tube is crossed. I'm assuming somebody uncrossed the tubes and figured out the correct pipes.
You're probably right. Probably the Polish guys.
Well, definitely the Polish teenager that's getting it on.
Oh, he's in love with Dianne Lane's neighbor, the young girl who lives at the neighbor's house. He's also a young man. This isn't a Fellini situation. Don't worry.
No.
They're both the same age. They both love Giorgio and the
close,
jungle.
Anyway.
Yeah, close enough.
Well, he's living in a different country, helping restore a house, and she's still a high school student. So it's a bit Fellini.
It's a smidge of Fellini, but mostly it's a beautiful love story with just a touch of creepiness.
Just a touch. But he truly knows how to throw a flag, and that is not a metaphor for anything.
It's not. He knows how to throw a flag, he knows how to catch a flag, but if someone says I love you, he knows how to take that flag right to the top of his head.
The way the flags turn and spin while they're thrust through the air is quite beautiful.
Yeah, the flag festival is a great part of this movie. I can't wait to read about it. The thing that the movie has on the book is that you can see the flag throwing. In the book, you have to imagine the flag throwing, but now I already have a basis. So when I'm in the tub and I'm reading that part of the book, I'll know exactly what to picture when she says he threw a flag in the air. Oh, it's attached to a pole. Oh, okay.
And back in 2000 or the 90s, whenever this came out, you couldn't just go on YouTube and type in flag throwing and get exactly what you required.
Well, you'd have to type in Italian flag throwing, because who knows? Maybe there's flag throwing all over this world.
Italians didn't have internet back then.
No, certainly not. 2003? They were just getting Charlie's Angels. They didn't have internet.
Yeah, just Charlie's Angels.
They love McG. They absolutely love him. Oh, our favorite directors in Italy, Fellini and McG. Everyone's always saying that.
They talk about Fellini a lot in this movie.
They do, and if you're uncultured swine, then you are going to be like, who in the hell is Fellini? What is that meanie?
8.5? Why not 9?
Yeah.
Oh, get out of here. You don't know what you're talking about.
Right? Shut up. It's like a dream, all right? It's like watching a dream come to life. It's like watching a 16-year-old girl with white cream all over her face and going, you brought my dreams to life.
Oh, I had a dream of you in a white dress.
Oh, I had a dream of you with white cream all over your face. Oh, wow.
Oh, cool.
The Italians, they're so romantic. They have such a romantic language.
Yeah, you're like a Charlie's Angel.
Like in the letter that he writes her, it just says oh, I had a dream of you last night with white cream all over your face. It's just, oh, Sandra, you wouldn't believe what he said to me.
You won't get this because you're a lesbian, but this is very romantic.
I mean, geez, Dianne Lane drops a hard D on Sandra Oh in this movie too. I don't know if you caught that.
I don't think I did. A hard dick?
No, she calls her a strong dyke.
Oh yeah.
Like, yeesh movie. Yay.
You're a strong D. Oh my God, this was a different time.
Oh, Monte Bene, you know? Oy. Well, and then, the young lovers get married. Dianne Lane goes to bat for, because the girl, her neighbors, the dad doesn't want her to marry the Polish guy because he's xenophobic or whatever. But Dianne Lane's like, no, they love each other, and he's got family here. I'm his family. So they'll be taken care of. Everything's good. So they have a beautiful wedding on the property. Well, they get married in the church, but then they have the after party on Dianne Lane's property at Polonia, and it looks like a fun time.
Yeah, the afterbirth is all over Dianne Lane's property, and it really brings everybody together. The Polish are there, the young lovers are there, hot new stud that is also a writer shows up.
Yeah, it's weird how that guy comes in as an afterthought at the end. There's just then an American approaches her and goes, hey, you reviewed my books, you reviewed it poorly, but maybe we'll fall in love. And she goes, maybe we will. And then the tap in the entryway is gushing, and you go, oh, there it is, yeah.
Well, looks like she's found love with an American, thank goodness.
Yeah, I moved all the way to Italy to fall in love with an American. That's my life. That's under the Tuscan sun.
And that's under the Tuscan sun. Exactly.
Steve, what did you think of Under the Tuscan Sun?
Well, you talked a little bit of your origin story earlier, and mine goes thusly. I was a very young man, just graduated from high school, and where do I take my high school sweetheart? But Under the Tuscan Sun in theaters. And
Beautiful.
I hated it, obviously, because I was a young boy who just wanted to watch UFC and West Coast choppers.
But there's that, the old MILF who you see most of her nude body. That was probably enough for you at the time.
And the sex scene,
Right.
I did stick my hands down my pants, covered it in my popcorn so my
course.
girlfriend didn't see.
You
And
put your dinger up through the popcorn, and then you reached into the popcorn and gave yourself a hand job. Yeah.
this was a one for her type situation. This wasn't like a new burgeoning relationship. It had already been like a year or two old. So this is like, oh, fine, I'll go to Under the Tuscan Sun with you.
What was the one for you then? How did she? What was the movie that you went to even out the scales?
Probably I have no idea.
Like
I couldn't tell you.
Like Mortal Kombat Annihilation or something.
Yeah, something like that. Matrix 8 or whatever.
Yeah. For 2003 probably was Matrix Resurrections.
Maybe. Yeah, truly.
And by that I of course mean the Matrix Reloaded or the Matrix Revolutions, Resurrections.
But that one was for the boys.
Of course.
Like I would go with the boys for that one.
Well, or maybe one for you. Who knows?
And I remember saying Under the Tuscan Sun a lot. For some reason, the title of the movie really stuck with me, and I've been saying it very reverently over the past few years. And getting to see it some 15 years later was a real treat with my wife, and enjoying the flavor of Tuscany was absolutely delightful this time. Adam, what did you think of Under the Tuscanya Sun?
Oh, this movie was like taking a drop of olive oil and rubbing it on your lips seductively. It was doing the sign of the cross on your forehead as if it was Ash Wednesday. It was a beautiful experience. I can't wait to read in the bath, fully embrace the Under the Tuscan Sun lifestyle. And truly, I did enjoy this movie, and I am excited to read the book to get the full picture of it. I love travelogues. I love, nonfiction books like that. So this was right up my alley. Not as much food, like you said, as I would have liked. I thought there was going to be more food in this movie, but the food that we did see was delicious looking. And I don't have to worry too much because next week we're going to be getting all the food we could ever want in a movie. So let's not worry about that. But Under the Tuscan Sun was a true delight, and it makes me wonder why we talk about Jesus movies when we enjoy these movies much more. But hey, that's the show we came up with, and that's what we're doing on it. So here we are.
Maybe, but I really kind of want to push towards Hallmark movies because they're fun.
Yeah, I'm gonna veto that.
But there's so many podcasts.
Hey, there's a million podcasts about them, and I'm
Billion.
But so. 10 out of 10, Under the Tuscan Sun, best movie we watched on the show. Until next week, I love you.
I love you. We love
you. Ciao, Fudge Packers.
Mucho bene.
Mucho man. The P, the U, the R, the E, the B, the O, the Y, the S, it's pure boys. Hold up, it's pure boys.
Yeah, I got two throats.
The P, the U, the R, the E, the B, the O, the Y, the S, it's pure boys. Hold up, it's pure boys. Say what?